welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging headfirst into a really fascinating topic. Hilariously overpowered, you might say. We're talking about broken powers and protagonists in anime.
Yeah, the ones that just seem to defy all logic.
Exactly. So our mission basically is to figure out what makes certain characters or, a whole power system so dominant they just twist the narrative. Sometimes they even feel like they're making fun of the idea of power itself. We've got a great source list for this, especially one focusing on the top 10 broken anime powers and protagonists. It really digs into why they're broken, mechanically or narratively.
Right.
And what's wild is these anime, they often just ditch normal tension or balance because things get so absurdly OP, but people love them. They're super popular.
And that's the core of it, isn't it? When we say broken, we're not just talking raw power. It's about elements that kind of disrupt traditional storytelling. They remove the challenge, the consequence for the main character, which, forces creators into some really unique, sometimes kind of experimental ways to tell the story, just to keep us hooked. It's the usual spakes. Gone.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this. And where better to start than probably the ultimate poster child for broken. One Punch Man. Saitama, the Caped Baldy.
Can't avoid him on this topic.
His power is right there in the name. One punch defeats anyone.
Yep.
It sounds so simple, but that's simplicity for me. That's what makes him so disruptive. What's your take on why he fits broken so perfectly?
Well, you kind of nailed it. It's that absolute unchallengeable power. It just breaks the core narrative tension. There's no struggle for him, no real threat.
Yeah.
So it's not a story about Saitama overcoming anything. He is the insurmountable thing. So the creators have to find completely new ways to keep you watching, because asking will he win, it's pointless. Totally irrelevant.
That's when the genius comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because the tension just shifts completely. It stops being about Saitama's fights and becomes about, well, everything else. The world around him.
Yeah, the other characters.
Genos, right?
Yeah.
He's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
The other heroes, too.
Mm.
And Saitama just ends it effortlessly. So you're watching for the jokes, the reactions, the absurdity of it all.
Exactly. It's very meta. It's a commentary that kind of ironically became a perfect example of what it was making fun of.
Yeah.
The show gets its own joke, and that self-awareness is really central to why it works. It's a power fantasy, sure, but one that's actively poking fun at the tropes it uses.
Yeah.
Gives us something really fresh.
Okay, moving on. Another absolute powerhouse series. Dragon Ball Super, and of course building on Z.
Oh boy.
We've got Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Broly, Beerus, the whole crew. And their powers just keep escalating. Super Saiyan forms, Ultra Instinct, Akai, fusion, even messing with time. It feels like every arc, the ceiling just gets obliterated.
Obliterated is right. Higher doesn't even cut it. This is broken because characters routinely hit god-tier levels, like affecting whole universes with a punch. Goku just powering up can apparently threaten reality itself. It's not just power creep anymore. It's like a power explosion.
The scaling in Dragon Ball is something else. It started with martial arts on Earth, right?
Yeah, humble beginnings.
And now, literal god killers battling across dimensions, threatening to wipe out universes. Almost feels like the writers have this giant Deus Ex Machina button they just slam whenever Goku's in trouble, doesn't it? Like, oh no, he's losing. Bam, new form.
It absolutely does feel like that sometimes. And that brings up the whole idea of plot armor, right?
Yeah.
Goku always finds a new form or gets some last-minute power-up. Spirit Bomb, Ultra Instinct. He pulls through against impossible odds every time.
It's expected.
It is. It's almost a given. But for Dragon Ball, this constant escalation, these sudden power-ups, they aren't really flaws. They're the point. It's the engine driving the spectacle. The fun is watching bigger and bigger explosions of power, maybe more than feeling genuine suspense about who wins.
Fair enough. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Isekai time.
Yeah.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Ah, Rimuru.
Rimuru Tempest. And his abilities are just nuts. Predator absorbs and mimics anything. Great sage. Like a super AI brain. And then evolving into a demon lord. You mentioned this trend, the ridiculously OP isekai hero.
Yeah.
How's Rimuru fit that?
Oh, Rimuru is a prime example. Textbook, almost.
Yeah.
His brokenness is deep, absorbing anything, including concepts.
Concept.
Yeah, gaining divine skills, resurrecting thousands. After he becomes a demon lord, there's basically zero threat to him.
Right.
He just kind of warps reality to fit what he needs. The show isn't about struggling to survive anymore. It's
Wow.
about him, like, effortlessly building his nation, solving every problem with overwhelming power.
So it's less about the hero's journey, overcoming challenges, and
Yeah.
more about the satisfaction of watching someone super competent just operate
Yeah.
in a world that can't touch them.
Precisely. It's a big shift from struggle to, yeah, absolute competence, dominance even. The tension, if there is any, comes from how the outside world reacts, or the politics maybe, not from any real danger to Rimuru himself.
Okay. Okay, from one OP fantasy to another. Overlords. Aintul Gown.
Yes, Lord
World-class magic, summoning huge undead armies, instant death spells, reality manipulation. The list goes on.
The core broken thing here is right in the setup, isn't it? Ainz comes from a full dive VR MMO.
Right, a game world.
And the power scaling in that game, it's just on a completely different level compared to the fantasy world he lands in. He's playing by different rules, cheats enabled, basically.
And it's not just him. His NPCs, Albedo, Sheltier, they're incredibly broken too.
Right.
And totally loyal, unstoppable.
Exactly.
Which just adds layers to it. Not only is Ainz a god here, but his whole crew operates way beyond everyone else. There are no real challengers.
None whatsoever. And that leads to this really interesting narrative result. Ainz conquers nations with barely any resistance.
Yeah, it seems almost casual sometimes.
Right. He schemes more for fun or just to figure things out than out of actual need. Because there's no one who can truly challenge him. Like Rimuru, the show isn't about Ainz fighting for victory. It's about the strategy, often kind of funny, of him using his insane power.
Okay, changing pace again,
Yeah.
but still definitely broken. No game, no life.
Blank.
The siblings, Sora and Shiro, team, blank. Their power isn't physical strength. It's ridiculous intelligence, memory, logic, observation, manipulation skills, and the world they're in.
Yeah.
All conflicts settled by games.
And that's why they're broken in the specific world. Games instead of war. Their brains, their ability to spot cheats, it makes them invincible. Functionally.
They just can't lose.
Nope. It's a different kind of power fantasy, right? For the brain, not the muscles.
They've done some wild things. Beating a whole war race at chess, using psychology,
Yep.
outplaying actual gods, turning reality-bending games into solvable puzzles. You watch and just think, how? How did they even figure that out? Not, will they win?
Exactly. Because they always win. The thrill is entirely in how they pull it off. How they outsmart the impossible. Every win just shows off their genius. It turns the whole action idea on its head. It's intellectual combat, pure brain power dominance. Appeals to a different kind of fantasy.
From brains to blood.
Yeah.
Let's talk Hellsing Ultimate, Alucard.
The no-life king.
Powers. Immortality, regeneration, shadow stuff, absorbing souls. He feels a bit different. Maybe less broken from his own view, more about how he stomps everything else.
Well, he's broken because you can kill him multiple times and he just comes back, often stronger.
Right, the regeneration is insane.
He's like infinite lives. But what's interesting with Alucard is his power is so huge, he actually chooses to limit himself.
Hold back.
Yeah, self-imposed limits. But when he lets go, releases control, he's pretty much invincible.
That broken moment that always sticks out.
That's
Absorbing all those souls.
Oh, yeah, an entire army's worth of souls. Basically using them as extra lives. Makes him almost impossible to kill for good. It changes the whole game. He's not a hero fighting villains. He's like a force of nature swatting flies.
Okay, brace yourself. Pure absurdity incoming. The misfit of Demon King Academy.
Oh, Anos Voldegode.
Yes. Powers include killing and reviving someone with a word, self-resurrection, teleporting, bending time, stopping hearts, rewriting logic itself. Just reading the list is funny.
It should be. The whole point is he's the reincarnated Demon King, and he is quite literally stronger than the gods in his world.
So just inherently broken from the start, no buildup needed.
Fundamentally. And the moments that show it off are just incredible. Killing a guy and reviving him over and over mid-sentence. Destroying castles by blinking.
It's peak ridiculousness. So the story isn't even trying to hide it or create fake stakes. It's just celebrating it.
Exactly. The narrative for Anos is super clear.
Yeah.
Every challenge is just there to show how overwhelmingly superior he is. Always. There's no real suspense. It's all about showing off his power in sillier and sillier ways. Often pretty funny, too. It's pure, unashamed power fantasy.
All right, let's tackle a series known for its huge world and kind of all over the place power levels. The Fate series.
Fate. Yeah, that's a complex
We're
one.
talking servants like Gilgamesh, Saber, Archer. They're noble phantasms, mythical weapons, world-ending attacks. This feels different because the brokenness isn't just one character, maybe. It's the whole system.
You hit it right there. The broken parts are kind of everywhere. System-wide, Gilgamesh owns basically every legendary weapon ever.
Data Babylon, yeah.
Saber's Excalibur wipes out cities. Archer, Imo Aya, can copy pretty much any weapon he sees. This definitely leads to some scaling issues, let's say. The rules can feel inconsistent. Power levels jump around depending on what the plot needs.
Yeah, it feels like the rules get bent a lot just for cool fights.
Precisely. And that bleeds into the story itself. Characters die, come back, timelines loop, history gets changed. It makes a consistent power level really hard to pin down. The brokenness in Fate often comes from this narrative flexibility. It allows for amazing spectacle, definitely, but sometimes internal logic takes a backseat. It's a power system built for those epic moments, even if it has to fudge its own rules to make them happen.
Okay, our last main entry takes us back to virtual reality. Sword Art Online.
Kirito,
Kirito.
the Black Swordsman.
He just feels like the ultimate chosen one, doesn't he? Exclusive skills like dual wielding, admin commands, somehow reflexes that break the game.
Kirito's broken because he keeps beating death. Like multiple times. Aincrad, GGO, Alicization.
Yeah, the plot armor is strong with this one.
He solos bosses meant for huge groups of players. Even when admins try to hack him or cheat, he somehow still wins.
It really feels like the narrative bends over backwards for him. He always finds a way, right? Often through some power-up that wasn't really explained before.
Yeah.
It's less about the game's rules and more about, well, Kirito being Kirito,
Yeah,
the protagonist.
that's a great way to put it. His brokenness isn't just his skills list, it's the story's absolute commitment to making sure he succeeds no matter what. It taps right into that wish fulfillment fantasy, you know? Being the best, the unbeatable hero in that world, a protagonist who just can't lose.
Before we wrap this up, we got to give some quick honorable mentions from our source list. Bleach, especially the 1,000-year Blood War arc. Ichigo's forms just shatter all the previous scaling.
Oh yeah, Bleach definitely goes there.
Then there's Mob Psycho 100. Mob hitting 100% or 4% basically becomes a psychic god when his emotions boil over.
Incredible power displays there. Very different feel, though.
And the irregular at Magic High School, Tatsuya, the magical engineer who can basically casually drop nukes with magic.
Right. Shiba Tatsuya. Another prime example of overwhelming, almost detached power. What's really fascinating looking back at all these is how these characters, maybe because they're broken, not despite it,
Yeah.
they really define why people love these shows.
Yeah.
They're not just overpowered. They represent this fantasy of ultimate competence, ultimate freedom from normal limits. It really speaks to maybe a modern desire for wish fulfillment, seeing protagonists just dominate instead of struggle.
Interesting point.
But this flood of broken characters, it poses a big question for storytelling, doesn't it? How do creators keep any tension? How do you tell a compelling story when the main character faces no real danger? What we're seeing, I think, across a lot of these examples is a shift away from the classic hero's journey, overcoming hardship, towards a different kind of entertainment. The pleasure of just watching someone supremely capable operate, succeed in a world that can't really stop them.
So that leaves a big question for you listening right now. What does it actually mean for storytelling when the hero's already unbeatable? And what kind of satisfaction do we as viewers really get from watching them win? Because we know they will. Think about your own favorite broken characters. What makes them compelling for you? Is it the sheer power, the humor it creates? Or maybe you actually prefer heroes who have to struggle more with more balanced power? Something to chew on.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for diving deep with us today into this fascinating and, yeah, often ridiculous world of overpowered anime.
It was fun.
Hope you enjoyed the trip and maybe got some new things to think about.